Hello beautiful bookish friends, I'm Bowen and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be my first wrap up of 2024. In the month of January I read 13 books and this one was really all over the place. I've got some books that I really loved and some books that I really hated. We go from like a 1 star to a 4.75 star, it's really the whole spectrum. So let's start with my first read of 2024, which was Teach Me by Olivia Dade. I gave this one a 4.25 and a 1 spice rating. Considering my first book of the last couple of years was kind of a flop, this was such a great note to start 2024 on. I absolutely love this. It was so sweet. It's very Grumpy Sunshine. It's a workplace romance between two teachers. I found that this one was a lot more about the workplace dynamics and like a love letter to teachers everywhere more than the actual romance. Don't get me wrong. I loved the romance itself, the relationship between Martin and Bea, which is his kid, and the relationship between Martin and Rose, who are our two main characters. The way that Martin and Rose both cared about their students was just so lovely and heartwarming. The reason why I gave it a 4.25 though is I wanted a bit more of the relationship than I got, but I just adored this. I love Olivia Dade's writing. This is so good. And also, my heartless ass cried twice while reading this, which says a lot, really. Next, I read Raybearer by Jordan Ifweko. This I gave a 3.75. It didn't grip me in the way that I wanted it to. If I was in my YA fantasy era, I would have loved this. I'm trying to force the YA fantasy to come back and to find ones that I really love, and it's just not hitting the way I want it to, which is really upsetting for me because I loved it when I was in my YA fantasy era and now it feels like I'm trying to make fetch happen. I was really interested in the story and in the plot of this, and I love the representation that pops up in here. I don't know whether or not it's a spoiler to say what the representation is, so I'm not going to. I did really enjoy this story. I just feel like I'm trying to put a square peg in a round hole and it's just not working for me. I keep trying though. I keep trying. The next book I read is Her Dirty Mountain Men by Mika Lane. I gave this one a 2.75 star and a 2 spice rating. There's so many things in this that really kind of got on my nerves or just gave me the ick. Like, for example, our main character Ava, she breaks down in the middle of nowhere and this guy pulls up beside her to try and help her. And I get stranger danger. I 100% get that, I do. So she basically tells him to fuck off back from whence he came. And then when she realises that no one else is going to help her, no one else can help her, she all but jumps in front of his moving fucking vehicle after he's already stopped and tried to help you. I don't think that was a good move, sweetie. Not only that, this is a why choose romance, and I like why choose romances, but two of the guys in this are brothers, and while there is no sword crossing, because strong ew, that gave me such severe ick. Like, two people that are related sharing one No, did not like that at all. I mean, other than that, it was fine. It was just kind of mid, but the main character pissed me off, and the two brothers deciding that they want to have sexy time with the same person, just no, didn't like that. So this one was a no from me. The next book I read was Devi's Distraction by Ruby Dixon. I gave this one a 4.25 and a 2 spice rating. This is one of my comfort series, and this is one of my favourite books that I've read in this series for such a long time. I think this might be my favourite one in the Ice Home series, specifically so far. One of the things I really loved about this book in particular is the way that their relationship grew from like friendship and respect to like to love, and the way they waited for the resonance just because they wanted each other so badly that they couldn't imagine being resonated to anyone else, and the way they grew and they supported each other, especially considering Devi has had quite a lot of backlash from some of the other humans because she's basically a paleontologist, so she's basically studying all the animal carcasses so she can learn what the animals are like and what's good to eat, what's not good to eat, instead of just like taking their word for it, and why the things are the way they are on this planet, because she's got like scientist brain. I love that for her. And the way that her partner just fully supports this, and not only does he support it, he encourages it too, because watching her be passionate about what she loves just makes him so happy as well. The way they just supported each other was just so lovely and heartwarming, and the way that she absolutely advocated for him and basically built a prosthetic for him too. I loved this so much. This is definitely one of my comfort series, and this book here is why I keep reading books from this series. The next book I read in January was Tastes Like Shakar by Nisha Sharma. This one I gave a 4.75 and a 3 spice rating. This is about Bobby and Benjamin, aka Bundy, and they have to work together to plan their friend's wedding because Bobby is a wedding planner and he is a chef. Now, the first time they met, they kind of got off on the wrong foot a little bit, so now they kind of hate each other, but they have to work together to plan this wedding for their friends. But someone's trying to sabotage the wedding. I absolutely adored Bobby. She was an absolute baddie who ran her shit, wedding planner extraordinaire, even through all of the chaos of someone trying to sabotage this wedding for her best friend. She absolutely fucking owned it, and I love her so much. I didn't really vibe with the reveal part all that much for the wedding saboteur, but I loved their relationship because Bundy was also just so lovely, because when they got off on the wrong foot, he said the wrong thing and he's like been trying to apologise. She's also really quick and really snappy, so she basically puts him in his place every time before he can even think to apologise and say something. But they grow closer with the wedding planning and everything. I loved everything about this. I feel like this series in particular is so underrated. I see very few people talking about it. The first book in this series is Dating Dr. Dill, and it's If Shakespeare Was an Auntie. It's currently February. It's Black History Month. Pick this one. It's so good. Next I read A Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks by Mackenzie Lee. This one I gave a 3.75. This is the third Montague siblings book in this series, and this one follows Adrian. Now, Adrian is just an infant in the first 2 books, so this is like 18 years later. But Aidan very much has generalised anxiety disorder and OCD, and this focuses a lot on mental health, which I found was portrayed really, really well. I love how he also got back in touch with his siblings, Monty and Felicity, especially because he hadn't seen them since the first book. So when he was a literal infant, he didn't actually know he had siblings. So when his mother dies, she puts him on a path that finds his siblings, and they all have this quite literal found family thing. Because while Monty and Felicity both knew that Adrian existed, he didn't know about them. And watching their sibling dynamic come back was just so sweet and wonderful, and seeing Monty and Felicity and Percy again was just, it was so lovely and so sweet. I still say the first book in this series is my favourite, but I really did enjoy this one as well. Next I read Fix My Heart by Angel Devlin. I gave this one a 1 star and a 2 spice rating. Now, I wasn't really liking this book in the first place. I really didn't like the male main character. I thought he was a misogynistic jerk. Like, he was doing all of these nice things for her, but he was also very much make me a cup of tea, wench. At which point I would just throw the fucking cup at his head, quite frankly. But the one line in this that made me absolutely want to nope out of my own body was during a sexy scene. And I kind of want to tell you what it is because I don't want to leave you, like, in suspense. I don't want to be one of those people that's just, nah, it doesn't matter. But also, no. So I am going to tell you what the line is. So if you want to mute this for the next 5 seconds, then I strongly recommend that you do so, because I hated it. So when he's going down on her, he says, pussy pie. And I wanted to throw up. It was just so much no, that I couldn't give this any higher than a 1 star, because for that line alone, if I had to read that, I showed all of my work friends that as well. Like, that went in the fucking group chat, because I was there like, no, not a chance. I just could not fuck with this at all. It turns out that one started a bit of a trend, because the next book I read was Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. I gave this book a 4 spice rating and a 1.5. Now, I listened to this one on audio. Do not do that. For reference, my average audiobook listening speed is around 1.7. I put this on 2.5 just to get through it, because if I had to listen to another ridiculously fake, breathy orgasm from this woman, I was gonna lose the will to fucking live. I've never wanted a book to have less smut more than I did with this. I didn't like Persephone as a main character. I do get what everyone's saying when she's really fucking annoying. She's so fucking wishy-washy that she doesn't even know what she wants. She'll go back and she'll be like, Hades is a good guy, and then it'll turn into, Hades is the villain, he's a piece of shit. Even though she is not paying attention to a damn thing that he is actively doing. She tells him how he could be better. He actively goes and does the thing, and then she accuses him of making fun of her. Bitch, what the fuck is your problem? I love Persephone as a character in pretty much everything else. But in this, absolutely not, my love. I'm so glad I didn't pick up the rest of the series before I read this, because it's a no from me. I wouldn't mind reading the Hades ones, because I liked his character, but no. And the fun never ends, because the next book I read was The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, which I gave 1 star. The way that the main character in this was such a pick-me bitch fucking pissed me off. Right from the first interaction, Bree interacting with Nate's girlfriend hookup situation at like 6 in the morning when they go for a run on a Tuesday. She just lets herself into his house, and that's a thing that they do. I'm like, okay, weird, but okay. And she's just been really catty to his partner, and I get it, she's got a crush on him, but it's just such pick-me behaviour. I hated it. Not only that, he affectionately refers to her as Brie Cheese. That is the affectionate name for your kid's sister, not for someone that you have romantic intentions for. Like, that was not cute for me. One thing in a friends to lovers romance as well that just really pisses me off is when they're like, he's like a brother to me. No, the fuck he's not. No, he's not. Because you don't fantasize about kissing your brother. I can guarantee that is just deeply fucking twisted. Please just do not fucking say that if you don't think about them like that. You can come up with any other fucking excuse. Not only that, when he was dropping very, very obvious hints, she would like play it off as a joke when all her inner monologue was just how much she wanted him, and when he tried to give the indication that he wanted her back, she was like, nope, What is wrong with you? Like, I didn't really vibe with Nathan, but I really fucking hated Brie. That was my 3rd 1 star in a row, and I was desperate to get out of this reading slump. So the next book I picked up was Scott Under the Covers by Susan Enoch. I gave this one a 3.5 and a 1 spice rating. As you can probably tell from the title of this is a Highlander romance. Now, being from England, I can understand a Scottish accent pretty well. Reading it, however, I felt like I needed subtitles for this shit, and it made me feel really fucking stupid. Didn't like that very much. This follows Aidan and Miranda, and Miranda ends up in a deep load of shit because her brother lost a massive gambling debt, and in order to settle the debt with the person he was gambling with, she was basically collateral, so now she has to marry this complete absolute fucking asshole. So she ropes in Aidan to try and help her get out of this situation, especially because she had nothing to do with it, and now she has to settle her brother's debt by marrying this asshat. No thank you. I loved how smart Miranda was and their relationship with Aidan. And Aidan fell for her pretty much straight away when the first interaction they ever have is her insulting him. And I feel like it's very much giving, stop being so mean to me or I swear to God I'm going to fall in love with you. Because he very much does. At first insult, he absolutely falls for her, and now he will do anything to make sure, 1, that she doesn't marry this asshat so she can marry him instead, but 2, give her her freedom back. Because none of this was her doing. I really like this. It was cute, it was fun. It didn't quite give me what I was looking for, but it was fine. Then I was still trying to make the YA fantasy era work with The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I gave this one a 3.5. I read the Folk of the Air series years and years ago when it came out, and I absolutely loved that series. Didn't really like the last one as much, but I was really hoping that because I loved that series, this spin-off series would help me get back into my YA fantasy era. And while it was good, it didn't do what I wanted it to. I'm determined to find one that will. This is Soren and Oak's story. I really did enjoy this. I listened to the audiobook for this one. I just didn't quite give me what I wanted it to. I'm gonna pick up the second book. It comes out next month. I pre-ordered it, but I don't know whether or not it's the book or it's me. Genuinely could be either. But I did enjoy this well enough. It just didn't grab me like I wanted it to. I'm gonna find one that works, I swear to God. Next I read Chase Me by Tessa Bailey. I gave this book a 2.5 and a 3 spice rating. This was very insta everything, quite frankly. Roxy moved to New York to be an actress, and she gets a job while she's auditioning for all of the other things that she's auditioning for to do like a singing telegram. So one of her jobs ends up being for Louis McNally II, whose one-night stand hired her to sing him an ode to his dick, which was a cute, fun little meet cute. And then he just becomes very obsessed with finding out who this woman is, bordering on stalking at this point. I just didn't buy any of their relationship. I didn't buy their initial chemistry, like, at all. There was no real growth in this. Like, there was growth for the characters, but not growth within the relationship. It all felt very superficial and surface level and way too fucking fast for it to be believable. I just did not vibe with this at all. And the final book I read in January is We Are All Birds of Uganda by Hafsa Zayan. I gave this one a 3.5. This is a multi-generational story following Hassan in the 1960s in Uganda and Samia in present-day London. It's definitely very evident in this how much research this author put into this book, especially regarding the politics of what was going on in the 1960s in Uganda. And there's a load of references at the back as well, just to, like, if you wanted to do your own research, which I really loved and I really appreciated that. It definitely points out a lot of the racist aspects in modern day and in the 1960s point of view, and I did like the story of it. I don't think that this type of book is for me. I very much appreciated what it did, and I do recommend this for other people. It's just not the type of storytelling that I personally vibe with, but I think that everyone should definitely pick this up and at least give it a go. And that is all 13 of the books that I read in the month of January. So if you managed to get this far into the video, then leave an apple emoji in the comments down below. But for now, thank you so much for stopping by. It has been lovely having you here, and I hope to see you in another video coming very soon. Bye.